What is going on, tribe, and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video with me, your boy Scribe. We just finished up the second week of 3v3 GAC, and this one team really did impress me with its FDC in Grand Arena, and I wanted to share my experiences with you guys around Dad Bod Boba whipping out the gut and taking names and kicking ass. Well, mostly Fennec kicking, he was more punching ass. That's a weird image. Let's do it. So before we begin then, the datacron that we are discussing is the focused datacron for Boba Fett, Scion of Django, and this is essentially a rule of two datacron. This is like Bane featuring Sith, except it's Dad Bod's gut featuring Fennec, and we all like Fennec, she is the business. What is the benefit of this particular FDC? Quite a few things, actually. Look at the stats on the damage over here. We got loads of crit chance, so we are critting. 95% boost to crit damage, armor penetration for Boba, resistance penetration for our girl Fennec. Already out the rip, we're thinking kinda smexy, right? Every time we use a special ability, we're going to gain some buffs, health steal up, evasion up, health up, and funnily enough, that evasion up does actually really help. We've also got bonuses for our bounty hunters. They're all getting grit. What grit does is the same thing as part of Lord Vader's leadership. Take away all your protection, add that to max health, and then make yourself take reduced damage from percentile health effects, stuff like damage over times, thermal detonators, exposes, all of those reduced damage. Beautiful, very, very useful. Next up, whenever an enemy is defeated, bounty hunter allies gain bounty hunter's resolve. The great thing about this, right, is it's not specific. You don't have to kill a unit with Fennec for her to get bounty hunter's resolve. You don't even have to defeat the enemy yourself. Anytime an enemy is defeated, all of your bounty hunter allies gain bounty hunter's resolve, which means you get a free revive, which is great. It means you can constantly keep your survival rate up no matter what. Alright, next up, the level 12, we have got the mechanics for Fennec Shand. Basically, whenever she uses a basic ability, she's going to call a random bounty hunter ally to assist. We're only going with Boba Fett, so he is always coming in to assist. At the start of each of her turns, she's also going to gain a stack of Loyal Hand, which increases potency and offense and until the end of the encounter. And if Scion of Django is in the leader slot, Fennec also gains a stack of Loyal Hand whenever he takes a turn. This stacks up to a maximum of 20, meaning at best you can get like 200% additional offense, and I believe it's potency. Huge. Like, that's just loads of stacking damage. The longer the battle goes on, the more powerful these guys are going to get, to a certain limit, right? And then you've got the real juicy business. Boba Fett's level 15 ability. He's got 100% speed when he's got less than 10 stacks of momentum. He gains stacks of momentum when he crits the enemy. So that just means if you've got a 250 speed Boba Fett, start a battle, he's 500 speed. He's essentially outpacing anything that's not a GL, alright? At the start of the encounter, he is going to gain 3 stacks of Beskar armor until the end of battle, which means he's got like 20% protection recover, can't be crit, counterattacks every attack, right? All enemies are also inflicted with target lock till the end of the encounter, and it can never be getting rid of. They're permanently target locked. He also gets to ignore protection when he attacks. So all this additional stats boost that he's gaining, he's also ignoring protection, just hitting right underneath it. So things like Nest are not a concern, right? Also, if there are no Empire Galactic Legends and Fennec is the only other ally, whilst he is active, all allies are gaining 75% health, 75% offense, immunity to instant defeats, immunity to ability block, daze, heal immunity, shock, stun, turn meter reduction, and you cannot miss attacks. It's pretty special. It's pretty special. Whenever he gains a stack of momentum, Fennec is also going to gain 5% turn meter. So if you do a big AoE, Fennec is going to gain like 25% turn meter. It'll be great. If Fennec has 10 or more stacks of Loyal Hand, she also inflicts Death Mark for 2 turns whenever she uses a basic ability. Now all that takes is 5 turns between you and Fennec. 5 turns each, that is, between you and Fennec for it to get to that point. As soon as she starts doing those basics, Death Mark's flying out the wazoo. However, most importantly, enemies have almost always got are almost always dead before that even happens. It's kind of crazy. So I guess the next question comes down to, when we look at this team, what is it the team that I like to use this against? There's 2 here that I really like to test it against. One is my staple and the other is my backup plan. The staple is against my most hated team. I despise this team in 5s and in 3s. It annoys the living crap out of me, and it's got its own datacron as well. Let's see it. I hate this team. so much. Now, I know I've got 4 characters here. That's because Captain Rex is often a flex here. Sometimes it's Captain Rex, sometimes it's Kyle Katarn. If you want the security, Captain Rex is, in my opinion, a better third for the Saw Luthen team. Kyle Katarn is still decent, but Captain Rex I find is far more irritating to deal with. So if you want to put a really annoying team on defense, throw that on there, only if you've got the capacity in the roster to support it. Otherwise, Kyle Katarn does perfectly well. Still very annoying, okay? I hate this team so much, all right? Omicron on Saw Gerrera and at least one Omni on Luthen ties it up nicely, but the Datacron. This is usually the Datacron that you're going to be spotting with a Saw Gerrera lead. The level 9 Saw Gerrera, whenever an ally dies, apart from himself obviously, Saw Gerrera is going to take a bonus turn and their cooldowns get reset. This is such an annoying ability. You kill the little summoned in guy, Saw gets a bonus turn, has no cooldowns, annoys the crap out of you. The damn guy revives, you kill him again, Saw takes another bonus turn, and it's just constant blinds, constant AoEs. It's a pain, okay? The level 6, whenever a rebel fighter ally inflicts a debuff to an enemy during their turn, they deal bonus damage equal to 10% of that opponent's max health, which can't be evaded. That true damage, when Saw is constantly making bonus turns and putting out debuffs on you, is frustrating, guys. And then 15% max health and protection for each light side ally. This just gives them a large amount of bulk so that they're able to tank through the damage. This is such an annoying team to deal with. But thankfully, Boba Fett is just great. So here's me in round 1 of this week. We have the Kyle Katarn variant, and this is my first time using this counter. Start off with the AoE already. If we just pause it real quick. If we go in here and we check it out, I open up with the AoE, and I do think that this is what people should be doing as standard. Damage is pretty decent. 60,000 over here, 40,000 back there, can't quite see it here, and 31,000 against Kyle Katarn. It's decent, not too shabby. This is an R7 dad bod Boba right now, but we gain a bunch of turn meter on Fennec as well, which is the real benefit there. You'll notice that Kyle Katarn, he gains 10% turn meter for each rebel fighter ally. Doesn't count this summon guy, right? So he's actually gaining 20% turn meter at the start, and Boba still goes before him thanks to that 100% speed he's got there. So we did some decent damage. Saw Gerrera does his irritating stuff, and boom, that counterattack, thanks to the triple stacks of Beskar armor, immediately takes down the Sultan unit. Then we've got stupid Saw Gerrera with his bonus turn mechanic taking a bonus turn, but watch what happens. He attacks us, and we counterattack. I don't know how it dodged. We're supposed to not be able to have our attacks evade, so I'm not sure why that happened. But again, the second one, boom, we knock him out again. Thanks to that level 9, Saw Gerrera is obviously going to take another bonus turn. Frustrating, but we'll deal with it, right? Counterattacks coming in. We're doing, just under 90,000 damage there on that basic straight to health. Obviously, they've got the bulk cron, so it makes it a bit harder to deal with. And he takes some additional damage. Boom. Immediately, Kyle Katarn takes out Fennec. But because we're dad bod Boba leadership, what have we got? We've got Bounty Hunter's Resolve. So Fennec comes right back in. We do a basic on Kyle Katarn. Boom. Calls in the assist, immediately one-taps Kyle Katarn. Granted, only Relic 5, but this would probably still have killed him regardless. And look what we get back. Bounty Hunter's Resolve. You can see it over here, which means Fennec has got an extra life. Now, obviously, Saw Gerrera is going to take a bonus turn because we defeated a unit, but we're going back to punching faces. We're one-tapping that summoned unit each and every time now. And boop. Some decent damage once again. You can see over here, he's got the 15% extra max health and protection. He's got the debuff stealing percentile health effects, and obviously the level 9 here. He's got some decent armor pen and crit damage, and a decent chunk of health as well. So it's not a bad Datacron at all. Despite the lower relic levels, it's still pretty decent. Throw out another AoE here to gain some turn meter, and I figure, well, I'm going to have to get rid of this Rebel Trooper for like the 1500th time today. So I just go ahead and use the basic. Basic is all you really want to be using with Fennec. Look at that damage, though. She's got, well, I can't see how many stacks of Loyal Hand she has, but look at this. 47, 49, so we're doing about 200,000, but let's round it down. 190,000 on a basic there. Absolutely huge. Just one tap in that unit. Once again, Saw Gerrera's out. Boom, tap him once. Boom, tap him twice. Nearly get the kill on him. And we just go ahead and throw another gut punch to Saw Gerrera's midriff, finishing him off, and then we can take out Luthen with that. Look at that damage on Fennec. Dude, that damage on Fennec is just nutty. Look, brap. She is absolutely on fire with this damage. So that was the first time I was using it. I think I played it wrong. In fact, like right at the start, when we got rid of Kyle Katarn, we probably could have just gotten rid of Saw Gerrera instead. When we were here, where was it? When we were here, right? I chose to attack Kyle Katarn here, but realistically, if I'd have just gone after Saw Gerrera, we probably would have finished Saw Gerrera with the attacks under protection, defeated him, no more bonus turns, and then we could take out Kyle Katarn. We also would have got that Bounty Hunter's Resolve back. So I think the priority should be Saw Gerrera to stop those bonus turns. Let's take a look at the second time I took this in. This was the second time, and we open up the same AoE, immediately doing great damage once again. Saw takes about 1,011,500 turns. We don't even care about him increasing cooldowns because it doesn't do anything to us. He takes those bonus turns once again, he takes the hit, and Boba Fett takes offense to that. And this guy is obviously not as well modded. We immediately take out Saw Gerrera with those gut punches, immediately take out Luthen, and then Kyle Katarn also makes the mistake of trying to attack Boba Fett. Like, if your opponent does not have that 15% health and protection bonus on the level 3, your Sign of Django is going to be one-tapping people because he attacks under protection. It does crazy good damage here. It's absolutely wild. Now, I did mention at the start that there are two teams that I would recommend using this particular team with their FDC. The second one is another very high priority team to be countering. You won't always see it on defense, but it's still a pain to deal with and should free you up some rather sketchy counters otherwise. Now, I don't have test footage of it because I've been using it against that particular Saw Gerrera team every turn, but you guys might find this useful. And here we have it. We saw this in the pre-footage, but it turns out that Boba Fett Sign of Django is actually a really good, solid counter to Reaver in 3v3s. And these are no-joke Reavers as well, guys. These are no-joke Reavers. Look, we're talking Relic 8, Double Omid, Relic 7 on GI with 7th Sister, and these guys are Relic 5 and Relic 7. You know, like, taking out These are Kyber 1 players. 3,800 skill rating is pretty respectable in terms of Kyber 1 ranking. It's not at the bottom, it's somewhere in the middle sort of thing. And taking out Reavers here. Decent Datacrons as well, special turn meter, good amount of armor pen, good amount of crit damage. This is a no-joke team. And the win rates for this, on average, is about 94%. Over 94% out of 460 battles. Granted, not a load of battles, but almost good enough for us to say with some certainty that Boba Fett with Fennec and the level 15 FDC is pretty much a guaranteed counter to Reaver in 3v3s, which is absolutely huge, because it manages to save you something that you would otherwise use elsewhere. Reaver is still no joke in 3v3s, guys. Having this as an option available to you is great. But it doesn't end there. It's also a very solid counter at 74% average against Jabba the Hutt, and that's even with a Hutt Cartel Datacron. You can take these duo in. Now, personally, if it's me, I like to use the Afracron. Afra just feels like it's absolutely guaranteed, bona fide, made to hard counter Jabba the Hutt, just in general, right? But if you don't have Afra and you don't have that FDC, Boba Fett and Fennec is a pretty solid second choice. Yeah, sure, the win rates aren't absolutely phenomenal, but a 75% win rate against a Galactic Legend that currently has its own Datacron set that massively benefits its power output is still pretty solid in my book. So you've got some really good options. Saw, Reaver, and Jabba the Hutt, all very good in my opinion in terms of counters for this FDC. So let's talk about modding then. I like to mod these two in a specific way just for 3v3. It'll probably still roll over about the same sort of thing when we're looking at 5v5. But as you can see, I'm actually running a speed set over here because I want my Boba Fett to actually be relatively quick. I've not got boatloads of speed on him, but he's at 264 right now. So when he gets that 100% speed boost, he's going to be double that speed, which is around, what, 528? Just under 530 speed. Pretty decent. The rest of it is going to be all about damage output, okay? So I've got offense primary here, crit damage primary over here, and offense primary on this arrow. Now, of course, I could swap this up and try to throw speed primary over here and have offense secondary and stuff like that, or I could change over to an offense set and run a speed primary arrow over here. This just comes down to how can I effectively mod my entire roster whilst hitting certain thresholds. So with that in mind, what do I like to hit? 264 speed, we want the crit damage on that triangle because he's going to be critting. Thanks to all the additional crit chance that's baked into that FDC, he is going to crit. If he's critting all the time, we want crit damage, okay? So crit damage on there, and my offense at Relic 7 is 9,174. I could definitely push this higher and have him do more damage, but currently, this is working perfectly fine for me. In an optimal world, I would probably still keep the speed around here and try and pump this offense literally as high as possible. If you can run a crit damage set on him, keeping these sort of thresholds, you are absolutely golden. Fennec, similarly, ignore the fact that I'm running an offset here. Can we say public service announcement real quick? Modding is super valuable. It's really great if you can get full sets on all your mods, but do not pull your hair out over it. This is why I'm bald, guys. This is why I'm bald. If you've got a full set, like I've got an offense set over here, does it matter if you've got a double health set? No, what matters is the end stats. If you can have it without breaking any of your mod sets, perfect. But don't go crazy over it, guys. Just think about the end stats, all right? So Fennec is all about that offense. That's why we're running an offense set over here. We've got offense primary, and we've got crit damage, and we've got offense primary, okay? She's still got a little bit of speed, but again, we're not going crazy fast. 255 speed on this Fennec currently. She's got a bit of health. She's got a little bit of protection. Most important is that crit damage, and try and ramp that offense as high as possible. Mine's at just under 13k offense, and she is only Relic 7. So this is what you want to prioritize. Offense primary on the cross, if you can, offense primary on the arrow, and then crit damage on that triangle. Maximize that damage output, and try and push out some real good damage. Best way to pump that offense, get plenty of percentile offense secondaries in your mods over here. We've got a couple of good ones, some with some really good, that's a heck of a good mod. 26 speed with 7.22% offense, pretty wild. That's the kind of thing that we're looking for. Obviously, I could put better mods on these guys, but you don't need to go absolutely crazy on everything. Just enough to get the results that you need. Hopefully, this was useful to you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below, what teams have you been beating with the Boba Fett FDC? I would love to hear it. If you've got any videos, link them to me, baby. I want to see. But before you go, hit that like button, just so I know that you like this content. Leave me a comment saying your favorite team that you've beaten with the Fennec Boba Fett combo, and I'll see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.